The Most Dangerous Year is a documentary based around Washington State's SB 6443 bathroom bill, which took their case to their state Supreme Court. And the bathroom bill basically proposed that trans people were not allowed to use the bathroom that they identified with, but rather what their genetic and biological sex is. Defenders of this bill use the argument that we are protecting children from grown men or predators dressing up as the opposite gender and going into bathrooms and preying on young children. But in reality, there are no cases of this happening, and it's really just fear-mongering. And in all states with anti-discrimination laws, there is no link between an increased predatory behavior. Part of this documentary centers around the Snohomish School District and their fight to bring education within their school district on gender identity and the difference between gender and sexual orientation, and as well their activism within the fight against the bathroom bill. Within the documentary, it talks about some statistics about trans youth, including studies that show that socially supported trans children are aligned with the children of their same gender identity and can be happy and well-adjusted, which is contrary to popular belief that all trans children end up depressed or suicidal, which is a large percentage. A Republican senator in Washington explained that many people who do not support trans people are simply uneducated or do not have personal experience with trans people and thus become intolerant. And what is needed to combat this is open conversations. Through the documentary, we come across the Family Policy Institute, which is a historically anti-LGBTQ organization, which proposed a campaign called Just Want Privacy, and their goal was to introduce a bill to take the bathroom decision to Washington State. So through the documentary, a trans activist group of parents and educators took to public media publications to get their stories out and try to get the public to understand the levity of this bill. Some of the statistics involved in trans youth include 59% of trans people avoid using public bathrooms for fear of harassment. 68% of trans kids are harassed in the bathroom, and 41% of unaccepted trans people end up attempting suicide. The Just Want Privacy initiative tried to manipulate their title through multiple different proposals, but the Attorney General's office gave all of their 5 proposals the same title. So they went on to argue that their first initiative should not use language that says they are repealing gender protections. However, it was very clearly stated by the judge that this is exactly what they're doing, and so the first judge respected the true connotation. However, the second initiative, the judge did not change the language. Many different organizations came together in the Washington's Don't Discriminate Coalition, which advocated against this anti-LGBTQ plus legislation. In the end, I-1515, or the Just Want Privacy bill, did not receive enough votes to be included in the November ballot, and trans bathroom protections were maintained. One argument that I really resonated with is protecting girls and boys needs to include these trans youth, these trans boys and girls. Oftentimes in the documentary, they talked about protecting cisgendered children from trans individuals, but there was a point in the documentary where they made a point that if we look at this as a gender issue as a whole and not a division of cis and trans kids, then there is no minority. We just need to think about what protects all kids, and what protects all kids is having safe access to the bathrooms that they identify with and support from their families. I also wanted to touch on the quote, "How powerful is it to show our kids to be proud of who they are and that they can make a difference?" Because one of the kids that was in the documentary, Viandre, is actually still an advocate, still is very public on social media, does a lot of work for trans individuals. But still, as a 20-something-year-old, she's living her authentic self and showing young trans kids like she was that they belong and that there's a space for them to grow into healthy, happy adults.